Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Orphanlast, and today I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a speed painting. And something happened with the very beginning of the process of me recording the video, and so you weren't able to watch me start making, I guess, this Christmas tree. I don't know the specific name for this particular type of tree, but ultimately it's the easiest thing to understand. You basically draw one branch and then you just copy and paste it all over the place. Now if I was drawing on a piece of paper and pencil, then I would just draw each and every single branch individually, no copy and pasting. But since my computer just simply seems to conflict with Krita all the time, it just seems like copying and pasting seemed like it was the right way to go. Since then, I finished recording this video, I've tinkered around with some of Krita's settings, and I think it may perform a little bit better. But so far, Krita's been a little bit of a nightmare to work with. It just lags out, takes 2 through 4 seconds for a brush to appear sometimes, and that can get nerve-wracking, and it can kind of get you to question if you're able to make an image that has any quality with the computer. And if you can't make an image that has any quality and your tutorials are focused on artwork, it kind of makes you wonder if you can even continue with your artwork unless you buy a new computer, which I am willing to do, but it may take some time to actually be able to afford a new computer, which is something I don't want to do. So the other option is also using Medibang Pro. So basically I've been thinking about it. Within the next few weeks, if I decide Krita is just a little too laggy for my computer to handle, and then I may just create the grids on Krita and then save it as a JPEG, and then open that JPEG on Medibang Paint Pro, because Medibang Paint Pro seems to work just fine for me. All my lines seem to be crisp and fine and perfect. And so I may just do that. It's not that I want to abandon Krita. I love Krita. It's an amazing tool. This thing has so many features and I love it. But if my computer just can't handle it, and if I'm not able to provide any sort of quality for you guys with Krita, then Krita's the problem. It's not me, it's not anything else. I need to use something else. Like I said, I in a heartbeat I would recommend Krita any day of the week to anybody. It's just that, you know, if your computer can handle it, that's great. So far my computer can kind of handle it. We'll have to see if the tampering with the settings that I've done will actually improve the performance over time, but we'll just have to see. Instead of this speed painting video, I kind of want to talk about what I see as my future. I don't want to usually I'm talking about the artwork itself. I'm talking about art tips and stuff like that. But for me, today I've taken the day off work. I can't work today, and it's because my back hurts. Just you know, rolling over in bed hurts. Standing up hurts today, and this is actually terrifying for me. And it's not just because I do construction work for a living. What I do for a living is called faux rock construction, and basically this is what it is. We don't always build fake rock, but that's mainly what we do. And some people may say, well, why would you build a fake rock? Well, it all depends. I mean, just like 3 months ago, this rich guy paid us to go into his backyard and build a whole, like this hallway. Like he had this kind of narrow area that while you'd walk into his backyard, and he wanted it to feel magical walking into his backyard. So we adorned the walls, I guess, with artificial rock, and he's going to have all these vines that kind of just drape down. We have this hidden passageway so that if you're walking straight through this hallway for the very first time, you won't actually see this passageway. But on your return trip back, walking towards the front yard, you'll be able to actually see, whoa, there's a cave there. And you walk through the cave, and then, you know, you wind up in a jacuzzi, and you know, the jacuzzi area has these like pillars. You look up, and you have these Gothic arches, and in between each of the Gothic arches, an actual Disney artist, Bob Simmons, painted these murals and crazy. But anyways, going back, okay, you walk into this guy's backyard, you see these artificial rock that are handcrafted, hand carved, and everything like that, and then you see this archway, and midway up towards the archway, there are these two dragon heads facing each other, and that was fun to carve. And not only that, but we included the entire wingspan of both dragons. What job is that cool? Like, seriously, this is the coolest freaking job in the world. However, it's hard on the body. In 2008, I got into an ATV accident where I either fractured or broke every major bone in my body. One bone specifically that I fractured was the T12 vertebrae. And so when I can't go to work because my back hurts, you know, I can feel the ticking clock, you know. I look at my YouTube tutorials and everything like that. I look at everything that has to do with YouTube as my future. This has to be my future. It has to be. It has to be. I'm providing a quality service. I'm teaching right now curvilinear perspective. Yeah, there's videos on YouTube about curvilinear perspective, but no one's actually teaching it, and no one's teaching it on the level that I'm teaching it. I'm teaching something that other artists value. YouTube has to be my future. It has to be. If there's going to come a point where I'm just going to be a guy with a disability, and you know, it takes years for you to petition the government for assistance, and it's not like I even want to get assistance. Being a leech off the system is something that I've never wanted to be, ever. Like, I have a skill here. I have an ability to contribute. Like, by the time that my back finally gives out and I have to walk around either with a cane or just get around with a wheelchair or something like that, and it will happen. It will happen. I have a skill. I'm still useful. And people value it. And I look at these guys on YouTube who've been blogging for years, and after a few years, you know, they say, "Hey guys, I got a line of T-shirts that I have for sale. If you're interested, come and buy some." And you look at the comments, and you see these comments that, "Oh man, you're a sellout." No, it doesn't matter what they're doing. If you're watching their videos, they're providing you a service of some sort, either entertainment or whatever it is. They deserve. Like, it takes time to record the video, even more time to edit it. Like, this is time and effort, and sometimes it takes more than one guy to do it. And asking the whole group of people that are all involved to be involved for free forever is just impractical. It just is. People, they have families eventually, you know. They have things that they got to do, and I don't see them as sellouts. I mean, is 99% of society a sellout? Are they all a sellout because they wake up every morning and they have to go to work, and you know, in the hopes of getting their bi-weekly paycheck? Are they sellouts? Like, you provide a service, you should be paid for it at some point. As of right now, every program that I've used has been free, and it will continue to be that way for a good long while. And so all my tutorials are about free stuff. Who knows, it may indefinitely be about that. My tutorials may indefinitely be about free stuff. I have not asked for a single cent, and it will continue to be that way for a good long while, a number of years. But there will come a point where I will make a Patreon. There will come a point where I will come out with, you know, T-shirts and, you know, pants and stuff like that with designs on them, things that I would actually like to wear, and say, "Hey guys, look at this. Look at what I'm wearing. This is cool, right? You guys want to wear this? You can buy it over here." You know, there will come a point where I will come. I am actually working on this, by the way. There will come a point where I will release an art book, how to draw this specific sort of topic, how to do this. Here's a bunch of references that you can use that are invaluable and such like that. That said, all of my tutorials online, like I'm not restricting myself with the content that I'm talking about inside of my tutorials. I'm giving you guys the best of the best that I know, and the art books that I'm going to be working on are basically going to be the same content. And literally the same content. It's going to be about, you know, how to draw curvilinear perspective, and how to draw this, how to draw that, how to use open tunes, things like that. Now, you may ask yourself, well, if I already have your tutorial for free, why would I want to buy your art book? Well, there's a number of reasons. First reason, you don't have to rewind the video a million times and listen to content that I've already said that you already understand a million times over. Most of the time, whenever you're using a video as a tutorial, you're not learning necessarily how to draw exactly what they're drawing or whatever it is, or looking for references. You're looking for, okay, what did he click on there? Where did he move that to? Where was that menu? You're asking those sorts of questions whenever you're looking at a tutorial. With an art book, especially, you're able to just flip to the page, look at your piece of paper or your computer screen, draw it, look at the art book again, and then look at, like, it's a reference, and so that will be a useful tool as well, and that's mainly what I'd like to provide. Not only that, there are some people that may be autistic in some way and learn better with a book than they would from a video. Or maybe they're not autistic, maybe they're just an average Joe, but they just don't learn visually through a video, but through a book. And so that's another reason. Also, you know, in the event of you know, post-apocalyptic Earth, you know, there will be no internet. Just hypothetically speaking, let's say some catastrophe happens and there is no internet, okay? I don't want my work, I don't want my tutorials, my how-to, my instructionals, all that, I don't want it all to just poof, disappear. And I want it to be on paper, printed, to where people can access it for forever, you know, for posterity's sake. And you know, some people may say, well, okay, well, in a post-apocalyptic world, I think we'll have bigger concerns than just how to draw. And I understand that argument just fine. I really do. But here's the thing: if art was not useful, we wouldn't have it. Pure and simple. Everything that we have started out as some sort of design on a piece of paper that was drawn from, guess what? It was drawn from an artist. And if not drawn on a piece of paper, then it was presented in some way artistically. Like, take the communicator from Star Trek, like the original series, Star Trek, you know. That right there, that we kind of have a derivative of the Star Trek communicator, and we have it as a smartphone. Of course, you think about it, the smartphone is actually more like a combination between a tricorder and a communicator, all in one. The only thing is that the communicator actually operates independently. It's an independent device, and our cell phones depend on cell phone towers. So we're not quite there, but yet we're able to still provide the same sort of service that a communicator on Star Trek offered. Okay, now Star Trek is just a work of art. It's just a little story, and yet, you know, the design, the idea started out as a piece of art, and some designers came about and made it somewhat of a reality. And you know, you look at the hoverboard in Back to the Future. Now, we still don't have that, but you know, you look online, and there are people that are still trying to make it. They're trying to make it into a reality. It's such a good idea. It's a phenomenal idea. Even in a post-apocalyptic world, there is still a demand. There would still be a demand for art, for design, things like that. So that is one of the reasons why I want to create these art books. Because, like, even though I have some of the content or all of the content on my tutorials, you know, for posterity's sake, in the case of an emergency, maybe you learn differently, all these sorts of reasons, that's why you would, I would think, want to purchase the art book. Now, of course, it's not finished yet. The art book isn't made yet. I don't have any products at this point, but YouTube has to be my future in some way. It just has to be. I still have something to contribute, even if I'm physically broken at some future date. That's mainly what I'm kind of concerned about today. But yeah, I pretty much said everything that I needed to say. But that pretty much concludes my narrative. Feel free to continue watching the rest of the video. Enjoy the speed painting, enjoy the little bit of music that I got going on here. And if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Continue watching. I think you'll like it.